Basically, at the time of when we formed the band, it seemed to encapsulate what we were feeling at the time. It's quite a long answer. So how much space have you got? It was just, there's two sides to it. One is it summed up how we were feeling, because it was basically coming to terms with what other people had done to put us in a particular position and then moving forward from that. So that then kind of came up with the concept of, is there a devil? If there is, does it have a soul? If it could sell it, what would happen? So kind of a sequence of events. And, well, yeah, that's about it really. I mean, it just sums up how we were feeling, and also it's to get people to think, because there may be a devil, there may not be, so it's not something straightforward. It's hopefully will get people to think.
I was about to say that as well. It's kind of open-ended, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it could have different meanings to different people. So it could mean one thing to you, one thing for someone else.
Yeah. So it's kind of, it doesn't have a specific meaning. It's more of a kind of a phrase to say, you know, what if? You know, what if this happened, what would we do? Or this has happened, this is what we are doing. So, yeah, it's just a term that kind of summed up how we were feeling at the time, and it's also supposed to get people to think. So, you know, it's not just a simple name, it's a bit more to it. Kind of similar to what we do with the music. There's a bit more to it, it's not just straight. It's kind of a joint effort. I think Johnny and Rick, because they play guitar, both of them, our songs are basically guitar-based music. That's what it is. So most of the songs start on a guitar, but everyone works together. It's kind of a team effort. So all six of us put forward our ideas. But that's a bad thing as well as a good thing. Everyone's got their own direction and their own ideas.
Yeah.
So
it is just like Paul said. Like there are normally two different ways. Either like Rick or Johnny would bring an idea along and we'd play around with that, or it would be a collaborative thing. Like we'd all put in a little bit, each of us.
Or it can be just a small piece, a riff or something that someone's come up with, and it builds from there. Or sometimes people have two riffs or song ideas to get put together. So it's quite organic, just whatever works. We don't really do a set formula, so there's no rules. It could be anybody could write something. If it's good, we'll use it, basically. I don't think they are sad. I think they're more hopeful than sad. I think they maybe look at something that is sad, but then they say things will get better, or even though that's really dark, there is a bright side. So there's always a theme of hope running through our stuff, I think.
Yeah, trying to turn anything negative into a positive, like bringing the best out of it at the end of it. So I would agree with that, yeah.
And sad is a good emotion as well. You've got happiness and then you've got sadness, and they're both quite powerful. So if you're going to write music about something, you should go for something maybe extreme. So there's a lot behind it. If you go for something in the middle, then it could be a bit boring. So
obviously we want people to be happy listening to Empire Light.
Yeah, it's supposed to be hopeful. It's basically uplifting music, you know. So it picks you up when you're down. Well, that's the idea anyway. So yeah. Various things, obviously inspired by music that we listen to, but also inspired to keep moving forward with what we do.
There have been, a fair amount's kind of happened to us over the past year, like all since releasing Blessed and Cursed. So we've kind of taken experiences from that and then just not necessarily dwelled upon them, but we've just taken that and used it as inspiration to write an even better record than before, hopefully.
It's kind of about keeping on going, even though maybe we would like to have done more than we have done. We're just still keeping moving forward, and we've got a boxing theme with one of the videos, and we've done a T-shirt with Rocky Balboa on it because it's about still swinging punches and trying to move forward. I don't know if that translates, but it's like if you get knocked down, you get up again and you keep on fighting. It's kind of that kind of...
It's perseverance. And not letting anyone get you down or, making you feel bad, because no one should have that sort of power over anyone else.
Yeah. And also, I think we drew upon all our previous records. So everything we've done to this point, we used as inspiration to write the new album. So some people haven't quite got it yet, but everything that we've released up until now, all the CDs, the new record has elements from all of those on this record. So some people think, oh, you changed your style, or this is very different. If you actually listen to it a lot and get used to it and understand it, it is just bits taken from past records as kind of influence of where we want it to go. So it's a refined product of what we've been building for 8 years. So, but that isn't obvious straight away, especially with the different singles, because they're all quite different from each other. But as an album as a whole, it does make sense, but you just need to give it some time, really.
I think when we were dealing with Century Media, when we were first talking to them, they were kind of the whole taking us out for food and being like, oh, everything's going to be amazing. They had this big grand plan, and we signed with them, and none of it happened.
Yeah, they promised a lot, and they expected a lot from us. So I think neither side was happy with the way things turned out in the last record. They wanted it to sell loads, and we wanted them to push it really hard. And neither of those things happened. So from our end, we wanted to tour a lot, have lots of videos, lots of radio play, that kind of thing. And they wanted lots of sales through the shops to make money. And they kind of go together, but for some reason, they didn't want to really back the record or back us as a band. So when it came to this album, as soon as they said, we're thinking about maybe letting you go, we were pretty much like, yeah, sure, fine, see you later. We didn't put up a fight. We thought it was a good thing.
So it's kind of halfway through the campaign with Blessed and Cursed, we did sort of sense an air of there's something not right here. It didn't seem like Paul said. They didn't seem to be pushing it as much as they could be.
Because they're a good label, and they can do big things if they want to. But for some reason, they just didn't fancy it. Yeah, and then we signed with them because they said they were going to work hard and they believed in us and all this kind of stuff. So we were like, okay, this sounds cool. But then they just, I don't know, it was weird. It was like they didn't believe the album was that good. Or they didn't want to invest money because they were worried about not getting a return. But, it's kind of their loss because this album is even better than that one. But it was basically boiled down to money. They wanted to give us less money, and we literally couldn't afford to make a record on the money that they were offering, so that we couldn't maneuver in any direction apart from the path. So, but we're glad because Small Town, even though it's an independent mini label, they're really cool guys who work there. It's a good team, so they care more about the music. So
they're enthusiastic.
Yeah. So even though they're not a massive machine, so say with the album we've had pre-orders haven't arrived on the day of release. That's what happens if you go to a smaller label, but they care more about the music, so it's ups and downs. But we were able to write the album that we wanted to write, which we probably wouldn't have been able to do if we were on Century still, because they would have wanted us to tick a load of boxes and write particular songs and that kind of thing, whereas with this record, well, same as all our records, we've just done what we want to do. So I think maybe we might have annoyed them a bit on Blessed and Cursed because we didn't really listen to what they were trying to get us to do, because we're not in it for that. We're in it to write what we like and what we think is cool. So. The Elijah we know pretty well. They've played with us quite a few times. They've recorded with our guitarist Johnny a fair few times as well.
They played at the launch show.
Yeah, we had our launch show on Monday and they were the first band on. And they played a few others. We've asked them to do a few.
Yeah.
We Are the Ocean. We've maybe played a show with them.
That must have been a while.
Scala, was it maybe? Was that them? Or was that...
Oh, that was the Ocean.
The Ocean, yeah. I don't know. We're still new to the label, so we haven't met that many of the bands. We met another one at the launch show.
Shadows Chasing
Yeah, they seem really cool. Yeah. Nice guys.
That's good.
I think the show was sold out. It was a small show. We wanted to keep it fairly small, just so that it was more about just the album being launched. It wasn't about doing a big show. It was just to kind of have a little celebration with friends and real fans who were really into it. So when we released Blessed and Cursed, the launch show was maybe 90% industry people. So it was really flat, there was no atmosphere, and we played pretty much all new songs which no one knew, so there wasn't a great combination.
Just stood there like...
Yeah, so it's nice for... So this time, we thought, okay, swap it round. So we had basically 90% fans, real fans, and then we played 3 new songs, but everything else was old, so we, made it an interesting set. And the 3 new ones people had already heard because
they've been on the radio
or on TV or the internet or whatever, so they already knew them. So it was really good, really, really good.
Yeah.
So, and the album seems to be selling well, and lots of people had it, and we were signing stuff as well, so it was cool. So yeah, and we're playing stuff, I think 5 new ones tonight, so we don't know if everyone's heard the record yet, because it's only just come out, but we're hoping that maybe people have listened to it online or something, so we'll see. If not, they can buy it, because we've got it tonight, but it's fine. I think the further away we get from home, the more appreciative people are that we've come. So if we play somewhere in the UK, because we're from there, it's not such a big deal, and we played there a lot of times as we've gone over the years. But if we travel abroad to Europe or Russia or further afield, people know you've come a long way, and say tonight we're only here once, so anyone in Poland who wants to see us has to come tonight. So it generates a bit more of a buzz. The atmosphere is normally really good. But the crowds are, on the whole, they're fairly similar. I think with the internet, everyone kind of knows what everyone else looks like and how they act, so there's not a massive difference between everybody, I don't think.
No, I think there's a difference, there's definitely a difference in how much research, how much the crowd know the songs. So like singing along things, like the Russian crowds, and like Paul said, the further away from the UK, it seems like more people know like lyrics to songs and stuff, whereas in the UK you just get people sort of just nodding their heads and stuff. Well, you do get good crowds, but yeah, it's just things like that interaction, I think, is quite important.
Yeah, it's just because we're from abroad here, so it's interesting, whereas back home it's just another band from a country that has loads of bands, But yeah, we've had some of our best ever shows in the UK, so we love it there as well. But yeah, when we come to Europe, it's cool. But pretty much everyone's the same. They enjoy music, and so it doesn't matter if you speak a different language or you come from somewhere else. At the end of the day, you either like music or you don't, and that seems to be the common ground. So everyone's fairly similar, and everyone's really friendly back home and here as well. So. I thought the venues were good, the staff and the promoters were friendly and looked after us well, but there just weren't enough people at the show, and that boils down to a few different reasons, but that was the only thing that was a bit disappointing, was the number of people. But the people who were there were really enthusiastic. Yeah. It's like, even though it was a small crowd, it was like full of energy. Yeah. So we were happy, because if we'll play anywhere, if there's 10 people going crazy, that's cool. Who wants to play to a room of 1,000 people who are just like this, standing still. So, there weren't loads of people, but they were having a great time, and that was cool. So we just thought, right, we'll come back again, and we'll make sure it's promoted a bit better and more people know that it's happening. Because it seemed to be that everyone who was there was saying, oh, hardly anyone knows the shows are on, and stuff like that.
Also, it was, I think those shows were the first time we played in Poland, wasn't it? So it was a new territory for us, so like you say, it has spurred us on to work harder. So
you always need to go somewhere first and then come back. It's very rare that it's amazing straight away. I think Russia is probably the only exception, where our first ever show there was completely mental, just amazing. But we've done a lot of shows over the years where you go somewhere new and there's not that many people, but then the people who were there tell everyone that didn't go, you missed an amazing show, and then you go back again and it's busy. So it's just the way it is. So hopefully tonight fingers crossed it'll be really good. But we don't get to see that much when we're on tour. It's more travelling, so you don't get to see many places. But I don't think I haven't. No, I don't think I've been to Poland before.
This is pretty. The thing is, without changing the subject too much, is going back to money again. Like we don't really. For me personally, I don't have really enough money to go on a holiday every year. So touring is pretty much my holiday. So I get to go around and see everywhere. But so
I mean, we spent time in Poland, especially the first time, because we drove. So we drove all the way from England going across Europe playing different shows. So that time we actually spent a fair bit in the country, you know, just driving around, staying in different places. The 2 hotels we stayed in were amazing. There was that old kind of townhouse kind of castle place. That was very awesome.
Yeah.
And then the other one, so this, I mean, we haven't spent much time here, but we know a fair bit about the country. I mean, my mum's actually Polish, so I know a fair bit from her, but it's just like Lex said, down to money. We would travel more if we could, but we just go, if we tour, then we can go there. Otherwise, it's a bit like, it would be nice, but yeah. So, but we do know a fair bit about the country, just, you know, maybe, well, so if the show tonight goes well, we'll come back more often. So. Showing live in our band.
Yeah.
The first time we played, well, the 2 times we played at Download Festival, they were really good because that was a massive crowd and just like there to see us kind of thing. So that was cool. Our last headline show that we did in London on the last tour that we did, which was about a year and a half ago. It's kind of start of 2011, I think it was January. Yeah, 2011ish. That was pretty good because it was sold out show and everyone just went mental. So it was just the crowd was just kind of churning. The first time we played in St. Petersburg, which was that was 3 years ago. So the first time we played in Russia, we'd never played there before, and we didn't know if anyone was going to turn up. And we walked out, and it was just everyone went mental, and they were singing along, and that was pretty good as well. So, but we've had this at the beginning, like maybe 3 years ago, it was like 1 or 2 were really good. Now they're becoming more frequent. Yeah, we get more of them, which is good. So try to remember them all.
There was one that I remember, which was in France actually.
Oh yeah.
And
was that in Nantes?
Yeah, it was in Nantes, and we had people coming up to us afterwards saying that they were crying through the sets. It's nice to know that that our music has that effect on people.
Yeah. So. I thought Minsk last year was really good as well. I enjoyed that.
That was cool, but then that's because you jumped off a roof.
Yeah, that's true. I play football 3 times a week, so enjoy that. That's good fun.
I just play drums. That's all I do. I play with a couple of other bands.
Photography?
I do a little bit of photography, not so much anymore because I don't really have time to do it because of playing drums, which is a bit of a pain. But I kind of do sessions with other bands and stuff if they need a drummer in to do some recording. I'll go along and do a bit of recording.
I think all of us in the band like movies as well, so we either watch them on DVD or Blu-ray or the internet or go to the cinema. So we all like films, just the big kind of the music and the rush. Yeah, so it can be action or thriller or horror or whatever, but we just, we all enjoy a good film. And I think that's part of the inspiration about what we do is kind of movie soundtracks, the way they kind of get to you. So you can be watching a film and the storyline's really good, and then it gets to that moment, and then the music comes in as well, and you're just like, so that's one of our big inspirations. For me, I would probably say recently, like on my MP3 player, probably Magnetic Man, who are from the UK. I don't know if you know them. They're kind of dubstep kind of dance kind of stuff. Jay-Z and Kanye West, they've had an album out. It's about a year and a half old now, but I really like that album. So that one. Who else? P-Money, who's grime. So that's kind of like a UK thing. Grime is it's kind of like if you think rap and then go a bit more dirty in a good way, not like obscene, but like more street. It's kind of London street kind of music. It's hard to explain, but it's good stuff. So that's 3. I don't know what else. I don't tend to listen to heavy stuff that much anymore. It's just all sorts. I don't know. Maybe Leona Lewis. I like listening to her stuff. She's a good singer. She's from London as well. I don't know.
You and Leona are tight.
Yeah, we're very tight. Since that X Factor edition. I went on after, but they cut me. So they didn't show me on TV. That was a joke.
On the way over, I was listening to Circa Survive, ISIS. What else was I listening to? Foo Fighters, and This Will Destroy You. They're some pretty cool. But they always, This Will Destroy You especially, they always just make me kind of make me fall asleep. So.
I put the 30 Seconds to Mars album on the other day. So I listened to that loads about a year ago. I really liked it. And I used to not like the band at all because the singer is an ex-movie star. I wasn't sure. But then the last album came out, and some of the singles like Kings and Queens and The Edge or something like that, Close to the Edge, I think was another one.
Yeah.
They just turned them around. Before I wasn't sure on them, and then I heard those songs and I thought they were really good. And then I listened to the album, so I thought it was a really good album. So I listened to that again the other day. But we like all kinds of music, from kind of, I don't know, Pantera to
stuff that's diverse, like the grime and stuff.
Yeah, just all sorts.
And everything in between.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, I thought about one the other day, which is kind of from Public Enemy to Arch Enemy. That's our scope of music.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to see us.
Should we say dziękuję?
Do you know some other Polish words?
A few, but
Don't be shy.
I don't know enough, that's the problem, so yeah, a few, like proszę panie, dzień dobry, tak tak, is that like yeah, so not many. Thing is, I was talking to one of the promoters earlier on, and he was saying, oh, did your mum teach you more Polish? And I said, well, when I was younger I didn't want to learn, and now I can't speak Polish. And I'm like, should have listened when she was trying to get me to learn when I was younger, but I didn't.
But yeah, message to the fans. Just thank you.
Which is?
What? Say it again. Again.
Just say
Dzięki.
Thank you really for the support. That's all.
Yeah.
It's quite simple. We're just pretty down to earth as a band and as people. And if we get invited to come play a show, we'll come and play, and hopefully people will be there and have a good time. And that's all. And if they can buy our records, that's great. If they can't afford it and they want to download it, then that's cool as well, because at least they're supporting us. But yeah, mainly just thank you. So.